President, what are your thoughts on Iran's new proposal? What's in it?
So they want to reach an agreement, but I'm not satisfied with it. We'll see what happens. Iran wants to reach an agreement because basically they no longer have an army and they want to make a deal, but I'm not satisfied with that. Sir President, why?
You!
Aren't you seeking Congress's approval?
Because it's never been sought before. There have been countless occasions, and no one has obtained it before. They consider it completely unconstitutional. But we're always in contact with Congress. But no one has sought it before. No one has asked for it before. It has never been used before. Why should we be different? We have great respect for Pakistan and for Islamabad, and tremendous respect for the Prime Minister and the Field Marshal. And they are working with us. They continue to cooperate with us. But the trip is very long, and right now we're handling everything by phone as part of the negotiations. They are having a huge problem getting along with each other in Iran. The leadership is very disorganized.
It has 2 or 3 groups, maybe 4.
Why aren't you seeking Congress's approval to extend this?
Because it has never been requested before. There have been countless occasions, and no one has ever achieved it before. They consider it totally unconstitutional. But we're always in contact with Congress, but no one has requested it before. No one has asked for it before. It has never been used before. Why should we be different?
Mr. President?
Very aggressive. I know all about it. Yes, I have great respect. Yes, but are you from Pakistan? I'm not. I'm American. I have great respect for Pakistan, for the Field Marshal, and for the Prime Minister. Yes, I knew that.
Thank you. The CENTCOM commander visited yesterday. He was getting information about a different approach, options, what kind of options, how it would look different.
Well, there are options. I mean, we want to go and just finish them off once and for all. We don't want to try to reach an agreement. Those are the options. Do you want to go?
Do you want to go and finish them off now?
And finish them off for good? In human terms, I'd rather not, but that's the option. Do we want to go in there with everything and just wipe them out? Or do we want to do something else? Their leadership is very disorganized, as you can understand, Peter, very disorganized. I mean, they don't get along with each other, and that puts us in a bad position. One group wants to make a certain deal, the other group wants to make a different deal, including the more radical ones. The radicals also want to reach an agreement. Why wouldn't they? They don't have a navy. They lack both an air force and air defense. They have absolutely nothing.
Oh, commenting on Donald Trump, the president of the United States, some clips, right? Some clips of what's been happening during the day. I think there are still a few left, so we'll talk about them later. But the big question is, has the war ended? Has the war ended? That's one of the questions that, well, has been asked the most here in the community since this afternoon. Comment on whether this conflict had really ended or if they were actually going to withdraw, because there was even talk of a possible retreat. There was also some confusion about the news from the Germans about this withdrawal of 5,000 soldiers in Germany.
Exactly. Remember that Trump had already warned that he was going to start withdrawing his soldiers from the bases in Europe. And obviously the issue of MERS, the whole issue of him supposedly saying that Iran was humiliating the United States, well, that has hurt him a lot. And well, what has he done? He pulls out the soldiers, 5,000 soldiers out of Germany. And well, it's suggested that Spain and Italy would be next.
That's the situation on that topic. He's discussed several issues over the past few days. For example, on April 7th, Donald Trump was already talking about how hostilities with Iran had ended. No, it's not something new. In fact, several of you here remembered it during the last broadcast. I mean, how many times has Donald Trump said the same thing, like it's over or we already won or this and that? And really, as long as the aircraft carriers and the military aren't withdrawing, as long as the Strait of Hormuz isn't open, I mean, clearly not. This conflict isn't going to end, unfortunately. On one hand, it's good that missiles aren't being launched, like Raul was saying here, whom I send my regards to. That's obviously a good thing. I mean, as long as they're not shooting, that's already a win these days, and that's positive. Although the dialogue remains tense.
Exactly. No, it simply doesn't exist. The dialogue doesn't exist through
Pakistan maybe a little, but
Yes, maybe through Pakistan. Well, today Iran is presenting these new negotiations, quote unquote, because really it's just stepping on the same red lines as the United States again. Donald Trump, above all, had raised the nuclear issue. He keeps repeating it in our clips, saying, well, Iran cannot have a nuclear weapon.
that's the recurring theme, right?
Yes, it's an issue they are not willing to give up. The Supreme Leader already said yesterday that, well, the nuclear issue is part of the country's wealth and they are not willing to give it up.
But well, they say whatever, right? I mean, really, I don't know. It's not like it's some unwritten rule. I mean, they're just gonna say what his followers expect him to say. Same with Trump, right? I mean, really, that whole thing about not negotiating is all relative, right?
I doubt they'll ever let that go.
You don't think they'll let it go?
It's just that letting it go would basically mean making them vulnerable to attack. That's why. Obviously, no, they're not going to let it go.
No, but I mean, either they let it go or the regime will end. What I mean is they're going to say no, well, until it's possible. What I mean is there's no way for that to end in terms of war. That's what I mean, right? So they say that because that's what they have to say. I mean, it's not necessarily that it's illogical for someone would want to expand because of a mineral basically over a material that, well, up until now at least, doesn't really seem to have any use, quote unquote. Rather here, well, they are totally pushing for war and a nuclear weapon, right? And they're not gonna give it up, not because it's sacred like they say, or because it's part of their culture or some achievement, but simply because they just don't want to stop, follow the United States directive, and because they want to have a nuclear weapon. I mean, that's the issue. That's why when they say the war is over, in one of the comments, Trump also says that, yes, but we just don't want it to end and have to return in 3 years. I mean, so he's talking about an ending. I mean, an ending that doesn't exist, that's far from existing, at least for now. An oil that's at record highs right now with a Strait at issue, completely closed off, and now the United Arab Emirates is already involved. Well, as of today, their exit is official, so that's not happening anymore.
Yes, well, starting May 1st, it was the official exit, a topic that, well, Trump said was good for them, but the reality is that it's going to be competition for them. That's if they manage to ship oil out of their country because they really are closed off. I mean, they have no way out except through the Strait of Hormuz.
No, no, no. There's no way. There's no way. I mean, so, well, that's the first part. Let's say that's the first. Trump's approach that stands out today is quite strong, although he also made a lot of very strange comments. For example, some comments he made in the morning had too many contradictions at the same time. I mean, he was saying this morning today that either they negotiate or they were going to be destroyed. I mean, a typical comment, very much like him. Well, it's like black and white, right? I mean, he's very aggressive, and then suddenly he says the war is over. I don't know about this topic. Me too. On the other hand, if they're waiting for something to happen to further justify the reaction of the United States, or I don't know what they're waiting for, but it seems like you're just watching things pile up. The only thing that's come out is the Gerald Ford, but other than that, I mean, another aircraft carrier arrived, planes and more planes have arrived. And now they're considering deploying the Dark Eagle hypersonic missiles, which, well, Dark Eagle, which shows they're going even further.
Exactly. But for now, well, the United States is also taking advantage of the situation because, look, one of the leaders had mentioned this before. Because remember that the United Arab Emirates are like different, let's say, tribes united in a single country. And one of the leaders of these tribes had said, the United States started this war to sell us weapons, then it'll leave. That's exactly what happened. And right now, the United States has already made a multi-million-dollar sale in the Gulf countries to arm them. They've already sold to them about $8,600,000,000 in weapons. Well, Israel, Kuwait, Qatar, and the United Arab Emirates. We already knew this, right? This sheikh had already warned about it. I don't remember his name, but he said this was going to happen, and now we're seeing it, right? And maybe in a week, Trump will pull out. Who knows? The thing is, I left them with the problem of the Strait of Hormuz being closed and that they charge you if you pass through, right? And well, by the way, something aired yesterday. Iranian television, a member of the Revolutionary Guard, showed a super aggressive attitude toward the United Arab Emirates. So conflicts are already starting to arise that will be the consequences of this first one. Well, this is actually the second part, right? Because the first would be the 12-day war. Yes, the job wasn't finished properly, and that's why they're dealing with this right now.
Let's address other important matters too. Let's move on to other important matters about what's happening in the world. Well, this movement that's happening over there is drawing attention. Speaking of it, right? Amid all this sacred city is being closely watched. That's where Minay is originally from, right?
No, it's not there. It's where the Ayatollahs study. Yes, that's right. I remember what it's called and where it was, but she's not from there.
And then, according to reports, there are unconfirmed reports of columns of smoke in different places, along with images. Well, they show that there are things going on. I don't know if there are fires or what it is, but obviously this activity draws attention. There it is again now with more columns of smoke. What's happening in Karnita Sara or what's happening over there in Qom, it obviously draws attention. It's not known. There is no information about that, but we also saw it there. So this morning we saw kamikaze drones arriving in northern Iran, but not launched from outside. They seem to be launched from within, apparently by the regime itself, attacking Kurdish positions.
Exactly, yes. I mean, the conflicts inside are ongoing. So, yes, you can see movement. But actually, yesterday we mentioned that there was an image where something was being neutralized, a drone, a missile, we don't know. And the Iranian media themselves have been warning about movement from Iran's air defense, but it's not clear who or why. But, well, maybe there could be some movements involving the Kurds.
We could keep an eye on that issue, on that topic. And, well, I mean, right from the start in this area of Qom, and this whole region is one of those that has had, one of the cities that has had the most. These demonstrations they're doing right now, like parades of pro groups, there are all kinds and pro-regime. They've also been trying at least to show a bit of strength, not in the sense, well, it also draws attention. I don't know if you can hear a bit of the, no, but from the city of Combat, it sounds super quiet. We're used to hearing this before the war, and it was really noisy, like a normal city, bustling with a lot of noise, often with cars, ambulances, all the usual stuff, right? Right now, it feels very quiet, just like every other year. Let's see if you can hear it. You can't really hear it. Well, you let me know. You tell me if you can hear it. But anyway, the point is that maybe we should check what time it was recorded. But the thing is, here, I think, or in any city around here, you can still hear noise, cars, and activity until 3 or 4 in the morning. People, ambulances, there's always something you can hear. This all feels very subdued to me, but anyway, that's beside the point. Let's move on to other interesting matters that are happening in the world. There's the issue of Cuba. Now that this conflict is supposedly ending and people are starting to turn their attention to the island.
Exactly. Right now, Donald Trump, it's an event. And at this event, basically what he says is that after Iran, the next step is to immediately take control of Cuba. That's the comment I've made that, well, I'm obviously going to put whoever ends up as the White House spokesperson on the spot. Because I had already made this comment before, and Karen Levitt had to justify this comment. Like, no, I mean, yes, well, the government is going to fall because of the economic difficulties. Not that we're going to carry out an aggressive takeover, but, well, today they say we're going to take control of Cuba almost immediately. And this comment, obviously, well, it causes nervousness because today there are also new sanctions for the government of Cuba, new sanctions that start today. It's a complicated issue, isn't it? Because it's already a heavily sanctioned country with economic difficulties and many other problems. And well, this is part of what people are experiencing as part of the relationship between Donald Trump and Cuba.
It seems to me that although the issue of sanctions has often been criticized, especially when there's already an attitude of going and pressuring, let's say, a government, in this case, the Cuban government, it seems that these sanctions, in the particular case of what's happening right now, seem to be speeding things up. What they used to say is that sanctions don't work. Well, yes, probably sanctions don't work because usually the ones who are affected are the people and not so much the regime. But this time it really is different, especially because these are tougher sanctions that basically, well, that's what the United States is aiming for. A collapse, well, of the regime itself, right? I mean, with a certain openness, the Russians would come in with a bit more oil. But aside from that, no, it hasn't opened up, right? I mean, it hasn't even opened up. Even at the UN, they've often criticized the United States on this issue. But at the same time, I see comments like Robles and from others who watch us from Cuba saying, please, enough already, get rid of this regime. So let's go. Something new, because honestly, it just doesn't make sense anymore. A regime that simply hasn't worked, it's just not there. Come on. You can't just keep waiting to see what happens for another 10, 20, or 30 years and keep living in a really tough situation for the people.
Exactly. And well, Trump's latest comment on this topic is the policies, practices, and actions of the Cuban government continue to constitute an unusual and extraordinary threat that has its origin in whole or in substantial part outside the United States. For the national security and foreign policy of the United States, I mean, they're trying to justify this by saying, well, Cuba is a security problem for the United States, either because it serves as a bridge for Russia or for China, which, well, that is actually true. Exactly.
Well, that's the issue. That's the topic. Let's move on to others. Now and what do you think? Is it going to happen or not? The end of yes is already here.
Well, first they'd have to sort things out with Iran because that would be a complicated issue, right? Even getting into two wars at the same time. In fact, he himself says, I don't like to start one thing if I haven't finished another, but well, I don't know how much we can trust his words.
Thank you.
No acabó con nada, o sea.
Yeah, it kind of worked out. I mean, it worked out the way it suits him, the way it benefits him. It's perfect. He always says we get along well with Venezuela's government, but that's only because they do what he wants. So they're not looking at whether there's sovereignty or not. They just do what Trump asks them to do. And I think that's what Trump would also like with Cuba.
We're going to have an agreement there in favor, let's say, not beyond democracy. That's not what they're looking for. Let's move on to other important matters as well.
Thanks.
Let's discuss other interesting topics and recent world events. Over 3,000 people have reportedly been evacuated. This is over in Japan. The fires that I've mentioned for several days now, well, they've been spreading according to reports. This image is from the firefighters themselves in in Japan. They have been reporting. We also had, well, they had a fire in Japan. That's why I made the connection. More than 3,000 people have reportedly been evacuated. This is towards the Italian region of Tuscany, according to reports. This series of fires has been affecting some areas called San Giuliano. This is near the famous northern Pisa area of Tuscany, where people have had to be evacuated under mandatory fire orders.
Exactly, it's a complex issue and not the only country facing fires. Japan is also experiencing quite large fires. I don't think we've mentioned that.
We haven't mentioned it yet, but yes, they've also been having, well, actually, we did mention it a bit, fires in this area of Japan. It's striking because these are usually very humid regions, right? Japan, Georgia, Florida, North Korea, just in case someone is experiencing drought right now in the north, which is also causing problems. Which one is the north?
Yes.
North Korea is the one that has been, but well, the point is that these kinds of situations have been happening, right?
Yes. And well, obviously, most of those are in forests, but also today, Pepe and Vivo mentioned the fire at a church. This one obviously seems more suspicious than the ones in the forests.
Exactly, right? That could be, well, some kind of attack, right?
That's the point. Or how many church fires have we seen?
A lot. I mean, yes, honestly, it's a really serious issue, right? Yes, it seems like there's something more going on there. By the way, speaking of this, there's a phenomenon that draws attention in the United States because, well, we're already in May, right? And, well, it's being reported that an unusual winter storm could be coming that's keeping large areas of the United States, well, wintry because of the cold, even snow. An out-of-season winter storm. There are extensive warnings in Colorado, right? New Mexico, I mean, let's say these are states that are in the southern United States, but in the end, well, they have mountainous areas. So, well, they're going to get up to 30 centimeters of snow. That has also been surprising, hasn't it?
Exactly. And well, the accumulation of snow plus reduced visibility, obviously, it's a risk for people who are driving, obviously, trucks and all that. So people are being asked not to go out unless it's necessary, and temperatures are going to be low freezing. Accidents increase, of course. Also, infrastructure issues like power outages and so on, things freezing. Water pipes can freeze, and agricultural activities have to stop because of the low temperatures.
Yes, it's really impressive, honestly. Let's see if we can catch a glimpse of the supposed new snow here. Look, yes, I mean, there is new snow. There it is. So, from the 1st to the 7th of May, these are the snowfalls, even reaching as far as Baja, California. Look, California and a bit of Nevada too, Arizona, not Mexico, but especially Colorado, part of Utah and Wyoming will have snow. But it's mainly this area of Colorado. Well, look, several people watch us from over there too. Let's see if someone sends us a photo or something. It would be really interesting to see snowfalls. I don't know how common it is, but at least according to NOAA and the same NWS, which is the National Weather Service, they say that this is a very uncommon event, right? This kind of snowfall with accumulations ranging from 15 to 30 centimeters. The phenomenon mainly affects rural communities where there's water accumulation and reduced visibility. As you mentioned, these are the things that could pose the greatest risks to people out on the streets and highways. And all of this, according to Newsweek, the warnings also report that they will remain in effect, especially in 3 places, which are Sangre de Cristo Mountains, the West Mountains, and the Pikes Peak region, which is in Colorado. They also state that there are alerts for transportation, infrastructure, and agricultural activities as well. United States. In that area, at least, there are usually a lot of snowfalls, especially in winter. Even toward the end of winter, well into the beginning of spring. But this has already lasted quite a bit longer, so, well, that's also important. The highways like Interstate 25 are on alert because, well, the area is going to be very slippery, so it's also important to keep that in mind if you are over there looking. It also says that the snow will persist in the mountains of northern New Mexico until tonight. Well, into next week, even into next weekend, so it's going to continue for several more days with these snowfalls.
Exactly. Well, get ready, everyone, because, well, yes, it's kind of unusual for the southern states to have this kind of weather. And, well, we have to be prepared and follow the instructions.
Let's move on to other important matters as well. Let's go.
¿Qué más tenemos por ahí?
Well, we should remember that in about 15 days, Donald Trump is going to meet with Xi Jinping, and they've already set the line, or what do they call it? The red line, when they tell you, like, these are the rules, right? I can't remember what they call it. But anyway, the point is,
The protocol?
what
What do we put, China or the States?
China, 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 China. That's what it says. If you come here to China, buddy, you come to talk about the Hormuz issue. It's part of our agenda, our main topic. And we have to remind ourselves that, yes, Iran has the closure, but the United States has the closure of the closure. So the issue can't come out. The oil that's going to China. Today, Pepe did his first live stream on Pepe Clips discussing this topic, right? And, well, China stated this Friday that if the Strait of Hormuz remains closed, it will be the main issue in these talks in Beijing with President Donald Trump. He said, if the Strait of Hormuz remains closed when President Trump visits China, this issue will inevitably be at the center of the talks. This was stated by China's ambassador to the UN and president of the Security Council for the month of May. And just to remind us that the presidency of the Security Council rotates, each month a different country takes the role. And, well, he made it very clear that the situation with Iran and the conflict is very fragile, and that it is an immediate priority, and that a new military escalation must be avoided and the ceasefire must be consolidated so that things don't get out of control, and turn into a bigger war.
The Strait of Hormuz is basically the key, right? The Strait of Hormuz is going to be the main issue, the central topic, because in the end, I mean, China also depends on that whole area, and, well, it makes sense, right? So they won't want to avoid the topic, right? Otherwise, it's better not to come at all, right? And maybe that could actually be an explanation for what Donald Trump is saying, like, oh yeah, no, it's done, peace has been achieved, everything is calm now, they don't have anything to attack with or whatever. I mean, maybe it's the first sign to start letting the Chinese know, don't worry, I'll fix it right now and buy a little more time. I don't know, but I mean, we'll have to wait for the reactions too. But I do agree a lot with Raul, who said a moment ago, right? He said, well, at least they're not shooting at each other.
Right? At least they're not shooting, but the problem is the oil isn't flowing.
That's true. That's true. And, well, in the end, it's a topic that has to be addressed. I mean, it has to open up at some point. Let's move on to other matters. Let's move on to other important topics as well. Let's move on to other interesting things happening in the world as well. I would like to see if we can watch and listen. You all let me know if that's the case. Yes, no, it's just that it was different, let's say, right? The point is, well, listen to this message from Merz himself, the German Chancellor. Let's listen.
Language that I simply find hard to tolerate. I guess I have to deal with it. I can't change it. I find it regrettable. Does it poison part of the political climate in our country? And I also try, let's say, in formats like this to bring a bit of calm and serenity to political debates, and at the same time to answer the questions that people in our country have, so that at least they can take something home with them. The feeling that we are really making a serious effort to solve the problems we have in Germany. And if I achieve that, then I will have accomplished quite a lot. And in view of the
Language of endurance.
I must say, to endure. I must say that I have to endure.
Sí.
Entre Trump y I must say that I have to, well, cheer up, since, well, I'm trying to keep the situation peaceful.
Language that I find, I must say I have to endure. I must say I have to endure.
Language comes from enduring. I must endure. I must say I have to endure. It gets intense.
It does get intense. So well then, language is something I have to endure. I must say that I have to endure. I must endure. I must say that I have to go further. At least that's what it seems, that it's not going to go any further in that regard. Let's move on to other topics. What else do you have there?
I don't know. Pepe told them about how language is something I have to endure. I must say that I have to endure. I must endure. Yes, he announced a 25% tariff on cars and trucks from the European Union. He's announcing it today. He says he'll read it. Part of the tweet says the European Union isn't honoring its trade agreement, which we fully agreed on. Next week, the tariffs applied to the European Union for cars and trucks entering the United States will increase. The language is striking. I must endure. I must say that I have to endure. Esto tan rápido. Que the language is hard for me to endure. I must say that I have to endure. I must endure the cars and trucks of Europe in the United States. There would be no tariff applied, but it's a very strong move, an estimated investment. What should these companies do? Obviously, it's a very big cost. And well, in 3 years, this president will leave and the next one will remove the tariff because honestly, the tariff is crazy. Enduring the language. Una contestación por parte de la Unión Europea. I must say that I have to endure. I have to endure. Acuerdo con las prácticas legislativas están. I must say that I have to endure. At all times, they say, we are complying with the agreement we reached. You're not just making up these tariffs because you're upset with Europe.
Language results from, I must say, endure. I must endure. About this topic, you didn't see what I mentioned this morning, which was this reduction in tariffs between Korea and the Emirates. The Emirates and Korea are already doing business together. Language. It's hard for me to endure. I have to endure. I mean, endure. I have to endure. I must say, I have to endure. Listen.
No escucha.
Oh, what a shame. What a shame. This tantrum is hilarious, girls. Seriously. He throws a tantrum. Donald Trump throws a tantrum. He goes like, no, I can't hear. I can't hear. He throws a tantrum. And it's like he's not in class at all. He couldn't hear. I mean, the microphone wasn't working. He was almost shouting, basically. The volume was really low. And he starts saying, turn up the microphone. And he kind of goes a little crazy. He said that's what he pays you for, that he always pays early and doesn't play dumb about that. He pays, so I don't know what. And it's like, well, he basically threw a tantrum, basically, in this conference, in this talk he gave, in which, well, maybe we'll play it in a moment, but it's pretty funny. But anyway, what else?
Today, there's a video going around. There's a lot of controversy about something that happened in Israel. A video came out showing a nun walking down the street in Jerusalem, and suddenly someone attacks her 2 or 3 times, pushes her, knocks her down, at one point leaves, then comes back and kicks her. I mean, this has caused a lot of outrage because, well, lately there's the image of Christ, right? Lebanon was very upset about this, also about the closure that happened during Holy Week. I think they didn't let the priest hold the event there, but in the end they allowed it. But still, I mean, there was a lot, it has caused a lot of tension within the Christian culture during an invasion of him in Rome, and they mention Israel, right? And well, this video that has been shared, honestly, we can't share it because it's really intense. It has been declared a shameful act by Israel's Ministry of Foreign Affairs, which fortunately responded. When a man runs up behind a nun, knocks her down and then leaves, and then comes back and hits her again with a stone block. I mean, it's a really serious matter. This nun, by the way, is French. Fortunately, she only suffered a scratch on her face and no serious injuries have been reported. The police reported that they arrested this 36-year-old man who will be taken to jail. And they have a zero tolerance law regarding the issue of a safe and dignified environment for all religions in the city of Jerusalem. Well, before this issue got so bad, it was always like the shared city, right? Among the Arabs, Muslims, among the Christians, and among the Jews. But lately there have been a lot of violent events. Yes, yes.
Well, that's the thing. Look, it's tough and well. Hopefully things calm down already. Well, everywhere, right? Check out this situation. This is the moment when someone else throws a tantrum.
Microphone, please turn up the microphone. You know, I hate it. You pay these guys a lot of money, and then you get up there and the microphone isn't working right. And then they want their money. And I don't believe in paying people for doing a bad job. I just like to pay people. I pay early. And I'm yelling like crazy because the microphone doesn't work. Turn up the microphone, please. Unbelievable.
Unbelievable, says Donald Trump. Well, it's true.
Suddenly he doesn't pay because he says he won't pay if the job isn't done well. If there are people who owe him, he owes them. That's how it is.
Here's the tip. Turn up the volume. Thanks a lot. That's great. How have you been?
I have people paying to turn it down. No, I pay more.
But turn it down. What do you get out of it? Greetings. Thank you very much, Daniela. Does this sound low? Or are you talking about the volume of the previous video? Let me know if you can clarify. A big hello. How have you been? Hello there. Thank you very much for the super chat, by the way.
Thank you very much.
What's going on here? It says 10 in each one. Greetings, Ben. Marcela, how have you been? Fidel, Botello, how have you been? A big hello to everyone joining us. Let's move on to other important matters as well. What else do we have over there?
Hey, so the oil producers in the United States are already saying, hey, we were telling you that, well, they're selling a lot of oil in the United States, but they don't produce enough to cover the whole world. So, well, the oil producers at some point, they didn't like the idea of at some point they saw it as a bad idea to go back to Venezuela. Do you remember there was this meeting with Donald Trump and the oil companies, and wow, it seemed like they weren't interested in going back to Venezuela because of the oil issue. Well, now they're considering going back to Venezuela to extract more oil and sell it to the world, because with what's happening in the Strait of Hormuz, it's definitely good business right now, isn't it? And the increase in transactions for hydrocarbons has grown so much that now they're actually considering that maybe it is a good idea to go back to Venezuela. Companies like Chevron and Exxon, well, Exxon was the one that pushed back on Donald Trump the most, right? Because I remember that even Donald Trump got upset because he felt like, hey, you should be happy. I'm practically giving you Venezuela's oil. And Exxon would say, well, no, right? Because they already had a bad history with Venezuela.
Of course, just imagine they talk about making a profit. I mean, because a lot of people think like, oh, the United States or a US company comes in and they just make a profit and leave happy. No, I mean, it takes them 10 to 15 years, even up to 20 years to recover. And from there, that's when the profit comes in. Who can guarantee that in 15 or 20 years they'll be stable? I mean, considering where they're coming from. So, well, they say, no, let others invest. No. And that, well, obviously has gotten a lot out of him. Exactly. But like right now,
sales are really good. So they said, well, maybe it is worth it.
Yes. So yes, definitely. Yes.
Well, yes, they are analyzing it. They're analyzing it. I'll know in a few days. And ultimately, the door remains open for them. So basically, the file that they sent back to Venezuela came in, and surely also Ciro Rodriguez's, well, they were in a hurry for them to return there.
I suppose so. What are we seeing in the next video? Let's see if you can tell me. Let's see. please
Well, I've got you there. When it starts, have a good one. We're watching a top. Yes, it's a Russian guy showing you what the situation is like.
In the heroic city of Tuapse. Happy holidays, dear comrades.
Nearby, obviously.
Happy holidays, dear comrades, says this person. In Tuapse, well, the attacks on the Tuapse refinery have been tremendous. An area that has a very interesting characteristic. I mean, it's an area, a very beautiful beach, by the way.
Right? A lot of people move there because the environment is very clean, interestingly enough. Because of the beaches, because they've had a more peaceful life. So let's say that people with good means go to live there.
Of course. It's like, what would it be?
Like if you go live here in Playa del Carmen just because you want to, I mean, like I'm going to go live at the beach. I'm going to, I don't know, to Baja California just because
He arrives if
there's pollution everywhere you look.
Well, that's how things are. Let's move on to other interesting matters as well. Today is May 1st, Workers' Day, a day when people usually don't work. And, well, there's also a topic that there tends to be less news. And honestly, it is much calmer than on other days. I mean, it doesn't feel like a normal day because, well, in the end, things do calm down a bit more. There's less activity in the markets. There's less movement in almost everything. So, well, that's also interesting. And, well, there's also an opportunity to chat a bit here with the community, right? So let's move on to other important matters. All right, so let's move on to the comments. We'll talk about what's still pending, but really it's a relatively calm day in that sense. So I think the most notable thing was this, right? The reaction from the United States, what's happening here in Mexico with Ruben Rocha and this whole situation, which is also pretty intense. Here's a comment from the FGR, right? We haven't seen this comment yet. Well, we'll check it out later.
Yeah, we'll check it out later. It just repeats, right? That the United States still hasn't provided any grounds, reasons, or evidence regarding Rocha, the governor of Sinaloa. But, well, let's see. At the end of the day, I think they must have some evidence. If they're doing it, if they're saying it, it's for a reason.
Yeah, I mean, well, if the United States already went ahead with that move, they should have 100% proof.
Yesterday, they said it was only the beginning.
And, well, experts were commenting, let's say, on topics like this, saying, wait, hold on. I mean, when you make that first announcement, they don't send you the evidence. That's not how it's done. I mean, it's not like the evidence comes first. Maybe that sounds logical, right? But it's a process. First, you give notice and then you send the evidence. And there's a process where I imagine that right now the opportunity the president would have is to really review what's happening there, right? Because, I mean, not because of the United States. For years, journalists and even the general public have been saying, look, there are clear connections here with all these individuals and nothing is being investigated, right? What happened with the rector? Or, well, a lot of things that have been happening in Sinaloa for a while now, right? And in Sinaloa and in Baja California. But, well, I mean, nothing happens at the same time, right? So, well, that topic is going to be, that's another topic that will also be addressed by the United States soon. And unfortunately here, instead of stepping up and dealing with it and speeding up the whole issue, it's the opposite.
They say out there that someone already told Rocha, don't even mention me, like we're not friends, just so you know. Don't say that I'm supporting or anything because I don't know. Well, one thing is what they say in front of the camera, and another thing is what's actually happening.
Well, those who are interested in the topic, look for the latest videos of Rocha and you can see it on his face. Thank you.
Yeah, no.
You don't need more. You don't need more. There are people who are very who hide it very well, that you don't know if they're happy, if they're content. Like, I mean, no, I mean that they have that
Poker, yes.
poker face. That's right. Yes, poker face. Yes. Rocha, no. I just realized he doesn't have a poker face. I've never seen it.
No, and besides, she's surrounded by like 20,000 patrol cars. I mean, Ton, she's scared. I mean, she says, I'm scared.
She has, I mean,
You can tell he's afraid of being close to Nicolas Maduro, but seriously, I mean, yes, he looks scared.
yes, honestly, he does look scared. I haven't seen him like this before. Honestly, it's pretty intense. How have you been, Francisco Pixel? Hello? He suggests buying our own island, our own country, Pepinautas, ruled by a council of elders. That would be crazy and cool. Could something like that be done? People have already tried, right? They've done it before.
Yes, there are areas, for example, in the United States, there's an area within the United States that doesn't belong to the United States. People do whatever they want there. Obviously, it is kind of chaotic and very hippie, but yes, there are places like that.
But maybe with a council of elders, yes, no.
I don't know about a council of elders, but tribes do, right? Well, just the tribes, right? African tribes, some tribes surely have them.
Maybe that's how it was in the past.
Yes, of course, in the past, yes. For example, Native Americans did have that.
Well, now in the United States, yes, the Council of Elders, because there's Biden and then there's Trump. Not wise. I never said they were.
But the Council of Elders, yes. MT says, thank you very much for keeping us informed on this holiday celebrating Labor Day. We are very fortunate to be here with you. Thank you very much.
MT, thank you very much for your comment.
Greetings to you and thank you for being here. I think I saw you among all the friends. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Greetings also to Marcela Riquelme. How are you? And also to Francisco Arce. And Miguel says, the electric car is environmentally friendly, but gasoline cars destroy our oxygen. And that's the big difference. Greetings, Miguel.
Greetings, Miguel. How have you been? Hello. How has Francisco Arce been? Greetings.
Pixel Cat says, I'm already fed up with Trump, Vivi, the Chinese guy, the Iranian, and the Russian for that joke, right? Who says who? Pixel Cat says, Pixel Gas, everyone must be there.
There are new characters now, right? They're changing things and the season is changing too.
No, because when people from North Korea get involved, anything can happen.
Yeah, that's another one.
Rublox says, personally, I prefer gasoline vehicles. Yes, electric ones don't catch my attention for several reasons, but everyone values their purchase differently. Greetings, Rublox. Greetings to Luis, who says, Chama, what's up? Hello, Luis.
Greetings. How have you been, Luis? Hello.
Greetings to Isa. How are you, Isa? What's up, Isa? And Novak Pepe's dad says, this May 1st in 2023, 2003. Wow. George W. Bush says, he officially declared the end of the invasion of Iraq. This May 1st, Trump threatens to invade Iran. Coincidences? That's not what it is.
I don't think so. That's interesting. Yeah, because until now, there hasn't really been an invasion. No troops on the ground except for the rescue ones, which was just a quick in and out. That's all so far, according to them. Advice to Ciano, he says, that's what the witnesses do. Oh, wow, I didn't know that. Yeah, that's crazy. Another round. No, I didn't know.
All the children, teenagers, and adolescents have to go to the Council of Elders and tell them if they've had sinful thoughts. What do they do? Just imagine.
That's the Council of Elders.
What a strange thing.
No, that council sounds strange to me.
Kind of strange.
Christy, how have you been? Greetings, good evening. What's up? Marcella says, how have you been? Hello.
Mita asks if they'll take him away in his sleep like Maduro. He hopes they do.
He says, electric cars, even if I wanted one, I can't. He says, I don't have anywhere to put a charger and there aren't enough chargers around me. For now, I prefer a hybrid, Adaiso says. Greetings, Adaiso. Yeah, I mean, if you don't have anywhere to plug it in, then no, it doesn't make sense. That's also really important. Yeah, you have to be proactive. If not, you don't get any benefit from it. If not, you don't get any benefit from it. Exactly, right? Us, well, I don't know. I'll do the math later. Let's see how much. Saved, right? Because honestly, it's really saved us a lot on gas. Even though it's a hybrid, it's a plug-in hybrid. So basically, I'm driving in electric mode all the time. Or that's the idea, right? I mean, I've already gotten used to driving like that. So I get home, I plug it in every day. I get home, plug it in, and charge it, just like that. The thing is, not everyone has that habit. You have to get used to it. You have to make it a habit to charge it. That's something that the South Koreans are studying, right? To see how to get people who have plug-in hybrids to actually plug them in. Because if you don't plug it in, there's no point in having a plug-in hybrid if you're not going to use it that way. I mean, the idea is for you to drive in electric mode all the time. Oh, you're going on a road trip over the weekend? That's when you use the hybrid mode, right? Or if you have too many errands that day, then you use the hybrid mode. But normally you'll be driving in electric mode. That's the concept. And honestly, it's worked out really well for us because our kids are already grown up. There are a lot of errands now. There didn't used to be so many before. Now there are a lot of errands every day. So, well, I don't know, spending, what would it be? 8,000 a month. If you look at it, that's 8,000 for gas. How much? No, like for a month. Oh, every 2 months. I thought of it as 8,000 for electricity every 2 months. Yes, instead of spending 8,000 every 2 months, you're right. How much do we spend every 2 months on electricity and water?
I think it's about 2,000 pesos
I mean,
from 8,000 every 2 months.
every 2 months. Like 8,000 every 2 months. No.
No, it's 2,000 every 2 months. For example, they charged us for 2 months.
Yes. So it's 8,000 every 2 months. We spend 2,000 every 2 months. I mean, that's a very significant difference. And if you add it up month by month, well, hey, that's a lot of money. I mean, that's real cash you're saving.
Yeah, I read a comment from someone in those Vigo groups who said they put the money they would spend on gas onto a card as if they were going to use it, and they already had 150 or so saved up. I mean, it really is a good idea.
That's how we're doing it. Yeah. We need to do it again. But yeah, it's a good idea. Why?
Yeah, it's really good.
We put it together really quickly, like it was about 20,000 pesos extra that we had saved up, you know? Yeah, that tip we were using was good, right? We should go back to that. But anyway, yeah, and now you ask me, I'd replace it with the same one. Now I'd even choose a fully electric one. Once you use it and get used to it, you realize it's truly practical. And how often do you drive on the highway? Well, in our case, extremely rarely, right? I mean, by highway, I mean like 1,000 kilometers or something like that, which also saves you a lot, by the way, with the hybrid. And the cool thing about the hybrid is that you use gasoline.
And there you go. I mean, even the brakes help charge the battery a little bit. Greetings to Dias and to the electric cars, even if you want one. Greetings as well to Christy. How are you, Christy? And Francisco is here too. He's Roble to us. How are you, Roble? Marcela also says no. So Council of Elders, no, we would have problems. I think Francisco and Tapatia would keep order on the island. Greetings. Exactly.
Greetings. No, well, there are a lot of people here. Most of them must already be over 50 or 60. That's what they tell me. At least according to the statistics here on YouTube, most are over 55, about 60% of the channel. I mean,
more or less. And that's a good amount of money saved. So yes, it's worth it. Yes, it is worth it.
No, yes, it is worth it. I mean, it's just that now for you, they charge you 200 pesos, 400 pesos for electricity. So maybe not so much. I mean, because you're going to go out of the range of the...
What they do is they put in another meter.
Well, yes, what they do is put in another meter. In our case, well, we always go over the limit because, well, the computers and all that are always on. We're always active here. So, well, we do use up some electricity. The difference we see is about 2,000 pesos every 2 months. So just imagine, you realize we're spending 1,000 a month when we actually spend about 4,000 a month on gas, more or less.
He says, what's the range of the song?
The song has a range of 77 kilometers of fully electric range. So for us, that's enough. It's more than enough.
But if you have, for example, a Dolphin, I think it's 300.
Yes, because it's electric.
Yes, it's fully electric with a 300-kilometer range.
But you won't get 300 out of it.
No, you can get more out of it.
Yeah, I won't say anything else.
The best thing is the taxi drivers, yes.
Taxi drivers, yes. There are quite a few now with the electric ones too. And another thing, the charger is worth it because they give you the option to charge it with regular electricity, but the charger charges super fast. I mean, really fast, like you just leave it and that's it.
Well, the new one, it seems, I don't know, the new BYD charges super fast.
Well, yes, this is the sports one.
The new battery charges very quickly. I'm not sure which model it's in, but it charges fast.
Battery, yes, the new battery.
Greetings to Mauricio. Someday do a segment with safe, efficient driving tips. Look over there, Pepe. Pepe really, I mean, he's been driving since he was 10 years old, and I think I've only seen him, well, and he hasn't even crashed. I mean, someone bumped into him a little and nothing happened like once. I mean, I haven't seen it. I mean, he really has super good reflexes.
Yes, thank you very much. No, I like it. I really enjoy driving. So, well, and my dad was a really good teacher. I mean, he convinced me that you have to feel the car, you know? Something like that. I mean, like you imagine that the whole space around you is basically the car, so you can even feel the little stones and potholes, and that makes you aware of where the car is at all times.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. It's really crazy.
What are you telling me? I mean, I can't even measure it.
So yeah, I also do it because I really enjoy it, because otherwise, no. I mean, it's already rare for traffic to stress me out unless I'm already fed up, but during the day and everything, like, yeah, it can get to me, but in general, even traffic doesn't bother me much. Well, since we're writing music, no, it doesn't. I don't really feel stressed. I joke around a bit with the guys because sometimes some of them get really intense. Yeah, tired of being, or yeah, how should I say it, on the defensive, like my dad used to say, not being too crazy when driving. I think everyone has their days, but tired of not of being calm, in that sense.
Yeah, it sounds great, like you and your brother driving.
Yeah, also, well, mom also drove really well, honestly. Yeah, it's true that
Hey, and Nestor, well, he drives super fast.
Yeah.
He drives fast. Yeah, he drives really well.
I drive fast, and Nestor, my brother, drives even faster. Yeah. He steps on it more.
He drives well. I don't think I've heard it either, just like me.
No.
No, I don't remember. That's where the genes come in.
No.
I don't remember. Hi, Sandenia, how are you? And Maestro Shifu, how are you? And it says, Elisa Sophia, it says, hello, I'm 52, it says here.
Greetings, below average. On average, he says, good point. What this game says is totally true. There are older people, with all the aspects, right? But there are older people who have the least amount of wisdom.
I mean,
There's Trump, exactly, right? No, I remember. I mean, there was a man. I learned this when I was very young because there was a man across from the school I went to, elementary school, and it was the typical little store. I'm not sure what she had against my grandfather.
That you're the son,
I mean, an old man.
right? You're Don Valdo's grandson or something. Go on, tell him to screw off or whatever.
And I would say to Grandpa,
What did he do to you, Grandpa?
he said, no, he said, he's really rude. He said, he's really crazy. He said, he says that to everyone. Ask him about any grandpa and he'll say it.
Oh, you're the one.
And then you would go with the other friend, right?
Your dad is, I don't know who. Well, tell your dad to go a lot.
Like that with everyone, who knows? But the man sells
He sells gammon.
gummies and whatever. But the man was really, really mischievous, right? And I said, so not all older people, are like that wise, right? It was like, it became clear to me that
he says, one day I open up and one, instead of choosing greetings, he says, a man if I am 35, says Francisco Garza. This is a geriatric channel. He says, look, electric cars don't use traditional engine oil. That's another advantage of EVs. He also says here, Navaco's dad says, before you heal someone, ask them if they're willing to give up the things that make them sick. He said it, and that's it.
Yeah. Well, yeah. I asked my dad that, I mean, because, he has certain things, certain issues, and he told me no.
Very well. He was honest.
Yeah, no, like that. No, it's like, no. And, well, it's good.
Martin says, what do you think? Or what do you think? No, well, that the first quarter GDP, yes, if drug trafficking, Mexico's economy dropped by 0.80. What? Wait, again, what do you think? In the first quarter GDP, yes.
I imagine that in Mexico, without drug trafficking, the economy dropped by 0.80. So do you think it really dropped, or?
But that would be reflected in the GDP, don't you think?
Yes, I think it could have been reflected, I'm saying, but I don't think it's related. I mean, what you're seeing it all over the world. Right now in China, things are falling everywhere. Well, there's a global recession. I mean, but I do think that if you suddenly just wipe that industry out of the black market altogether and all that, well, you hit any country really hard, any country that has a relatively good economy. It's interesting, but there must be some issue with the black market there in the United States and in Mexico and, well, I don't know, possibly in Canada, but I think it's more the United States and Mexico where many industries must be fueled by things like that in general, by organized crime in general, not just drugs, but there are many types of organized crime that generate and move millions. Some industries exist mainly because of that.
Greetings to Mayo and greetings. España.
Saludos.
Hace mucho que no los veía en vivo. ¿Por qué, Majo? ¿Por qué nos castigas? Yes, yes. Yes, 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 yes. I think I had a sleepless night because of the full moon.
Greetings.
Mayo, how have you been? Greetings to Panterita too.
What's up, Panterita? How are you?
Hey, says Tapatia. By the way, it's my birthday this month. Look at that. Greetings. So your birthday's in May, Tapatia?
Tapatia, it's your birthday.
No, but this month.
Oh, this month. That's great. Greetings. You know, my stepfather also has his birthday this month.
This month, greetings, Alejandra Gomez, who says, good and rainy evening. It's been raining all day in Houston and that cold. How crazy. Alejandra, what am I watching? Not for me. It hasn't rained all day. Just got cloudy. It seemed to get chilly after a certain time.
Yeah. I mean, we were coming from a week of cold weather, even in April. And then suddenly in the last days of April, it was like, oh, it's Monterey. And it went up to almost 40 degrees. Yeah. And it really threw us off. And then it lasted like 2 or 3 days, right? Yeah. Cloudy and a bit chilly for 2 or 3 days, but really nice.
Look, Sarah says to you, how are you guys doing? Greetings from Mexico City. There you go. Oh,
yes.
That's right, Sarah. I told you got here fast.
I remembered that today, that before Sarah was going to send you to Mexico City, I thought she was going to connect us. That's great.
That you got connected. Say hi to SMT. I'm 58 years old. I've lived them well, and I don't consider myself a senior yet.
Not at all. I mean, really, no. Now, the people we've met, 60, 70, it's impressive. Well, the other day he showed me how to make a video about this man, the one who looks like the teacher. What's his name? The teacher from the bodybuilder. Yes, because he looks like Goku's teacher.
He is Master Yoshi?
His name is Master Yoshi, yes. I don't know the name. No, that's the name.
It's not that. No, not a fan of No.
We're not fans of that one.
Goku's trainer from Dragon Ball?
Exactly. So let's see if we can play the video for a few seconds there. But yeah, the guy is really crazy. I mean, I didn't put it, no.
No, says Cibola. Should I keep going? Yes. My last electricity bill was less than 300 pesos. But when my sister was alive and she was connected to the oxygen concentrator 24 hours a day, I used to pay 5,000 or more every 2 months. Some things can really increase your electricity bill.
That man, look, well, he's there playing the b-ball video.
It's a little interview,
but I keep seeing more and more people like him. I mean, it's really extraordinary, obviously, right? That man is 74 years old. I mean, I don't know if you remember Maestro de Aparte. He's from Mexico, but from what he says in this report, in that interview, his name is Don Javier Zamora. He's a bodybuilding champion in Guadalajara. By the way, Tapatia, Fiataya, and the man has 19 children. I mean, he's one of 24 siblings, so it's like, and he's half Japanese and half I don't know what.
supposedly. Well, his last name is Zamora.
Well, who knows, right?
But anyway, the thing is that she's really hot.
Whether the story is real or not, I don't know that. But what I do know is that, well, he looks good.
Yeah, it's great.
Yeah, I mean, 74 years old, according to what he said. And I mean, I don't know if there it is. I mean, these are some really muscular legs. I mean, come on, sir.
Amazing, right? You can tell the gentleman is impressive in the magazines. It says here, look, I'm 56, but I feel 25 with a son and everything, and you can see it. Greetings, look.
Greetings, look, awesome.
Martin says, the electric car will be worth a lot until you have to change the battery. Oh, but that's a lot, Martin, to spend on a battery replacement, right? In what? The electric car, the battery?
I mean, yeah.
It just lasts a long time before needing replacement.
To make a change to it?
Of the battery.
Battery? Look, I don't know, but look, if you do the math, if it takes a long time to take it out, I mean, yeah, for example, it takes a long time to how do you say it? Well, in what the warranty covers. Yeah.
You know, it's 8 years and they extended it, right?
It's supposed to be 10, 11 years.
It's 10, 11 years, but they just extended it.
Well, and besides, if you use it every day and charge it every day, I mean, you do the math because it tells you how many times you can charge it, and that's guaranteed. I did the math, and using it every day like I do, it would take me 15 years.
And there?
That's when it would be down to 80%. Yes.
Cell phones at some point reach 80% that they charge and everything, plus it lasts you like an hour less? Yes.
That it's still missing a lot. I mean, well, then, yes, I'm going to use it as it's meant to be used because it's true. I mean, I'm not going to be like, oh, don't use it too much. No, I'm going to use it the way it's supposed to be used, and we'll see how it goes.
Ada says, and drug trafficking continues. The drop in GDP has nothing to do with the fight against drugs. Yes, yes. I mean, I don't think they've stopped it, honestly. Look,
When you see a rise in drug prices, like suddenly, oh, drugs are getting really expensive. Oh yeah. Oh, that there's very little. But right now, no, prices haven't gone down. So honestly, I don't think it's going down, right?
exactly, says Ada. And I've always believed that in the United States, there's no electronic invoicing or e-pay like in Mexico, so they don't expose the whole money laundering mess they have over there. Yes,
It could be. Yeah, pretty much everywhere here now, all businesses. Like the other day, we went to a bakery we'd been wanting to try for a while, which is really just a stand on the street, right? It's a little stand that's really nice. And we just felt like going. And we went there without any cash. We only had our card, but we were pretty sure they would accept it. And yeah, we got there and they accept cards. Everywhere now, they accept cards. That's just how it is.
Mauro says, what could be more criminal than the pharmaceutical industry? Trillions move through it, says Mauro. And Alejandra Gomez makes a comment about the show here. She says, between breaks today, it's taking longer than usual, says Alejandra. Greetings, Alejandra. Oh, how? Yeah, I mean, between breaks, the blue one, the bumper is taking a long time.
Yes, yes. Today it took a little longer. It's true. It took longer. In fact, we try not to have it, but our ideal would be to have no breaks at all, not even one. I mean, nothing. Because it would be better if we just went from story to story to story, because it's just that sometimes that break is there. It's more like when there are technical problems or when suddenly we don't manage to have we each have our own order and sometimes they're the same, so it's not a problem. We already know when each of us comes in. Sometimes no, because it's a live broadcast and there aren't many stories. Today was tough. Honestly, there isn't much information, so sorry about that. That part goes a bit slower, but yes, we try to avoid it. We don't like having interruptions.
Leonardo Escudero says, I'm really upset because halfway through the show, I ran out of internet data. I had to send a message to get 5 more gigabytes, but I missed half of the show. All day I didn't check how much data I had left, and just now it runs out, says Leonardo. Oh, Leonardo.
Leonardo, a huge shout out. Thank you so much for tuning in, and a huge shout out to your family.
Cebola says, I really am in the 4th or 5th age bracket. Yes, greetings, Cebola.
Greetings, Cebola. Hello there.
Greetings. The teacher Yoshi says here, teacher Yoshi, what did I say?
Teacher Yoshi, no, yes.
Roshi.
Roshi.
Oh, yes, I love that character.
Well, from the little I saw, I like that character, yes.
Really rude.
The missions he gave to Ranma or Roshi.
Nope.
Not Ranma, Jose Mago.
He's just like Ranma's coach, exactly the same. Rude with the girls. Greetings to Master Shifu. He says, I saw a report that Mexicans now live longer, but with lower quality of life. Oh, don't tell me that, Master. Master Shifu, not like that. Greetings. He says, Master Roshi looks like my grandfather. He says, if your grandfather is buff and a Panther supporter. Shifu says, you have to sell.
Well, quesadillas, gorditas, street food stands. Today I noticed that they accept cards with Mercado Pago. Now they accept cards. Exactly. Yes, exactly. Look, that's a good point. I mean, of course, it's really common not to carry money. I mean, not to have cash. It's really common. So, well, you have to accept it, right? You have to look for ways. Even now, these guys, public parking lots run by the government in different places, right? Suddenly they have parking lots that charge. Well, they also accept cards now, right? Everyone does.
They accept cards. It says here, I'm 71, but I feel mentally 30. I really feel like most people, I mean, there will be some who feel old, but most people feel the same as when they were in their 20s or 30s, just with more maturity, wisdom, and experience. Yes, you still mess up. I mean,
and maybe more aches and pains, right? That could be, but the mind, yeah, I think it stays the same, He says, I felt like having a xochito. He says, buttered corn. I mean, that's like the little cup from here, right?
From the police? Yes, the small cup of corn.
Yeah, actually last Sunday, that was our dessert. I mean, corn, it's been a long time since we bought one and we made it here at home. It turned out really good. Honestly, it was really great.
Yes, Rublox says that's why young people shouldn't stop exercising. We have to keep moving. Rublox says, yes, of course. Right. Greetings, he says, but in the United States, electricity is expensive and I pay $600 a month. It's expensive.
Well, it also depends on where you are, right? Because if it's expensive, wow, right? Well, maybe it doesn't cost that much anymore, right? We'd have to check, right? Like do the math, right?
Francisco Garcia says he's at the Pyramids Detective Bucano, where they're now accepting credit cards.
Wow, that's crazy. I didn't know that.
Yes, Rublox says here, and Siga, who's still, there are a lot of teenagers here. I think not anymore. Well, Rublox says here. Cheers. Greetings, says Cebola. He's on public transportation in Mexico City. Now you can pay with a debit card, says Cebola. Get out of here. You can't pay with a debit card, but you buy a card at Oxxo and you load it up and they don't accept cash anymore.
No, not anymore.
Which on one hand is really great, right? Because in the end, the drivers used to count. They used to collect the money. It was a hassle. Yes, yes, yes. It used to be a hassle, but now you just go through and you're done.
If they put up a big sign saying no cash accepted, no more cash, yeah. He says, I saw a 31 Minutos event in Mexico.
And it was packed, super packed. No way. Minutos is already Mexican now, not Chilean anymore.
You know, there was a traveling 31 Minutos museum here, Marcela, and we went to see it. Not sure if you were on the channel then, but we showed some great footage. Why? Because they showed the whole story.
They had all the mobs. Well, not all the mobs, all the puppets, all the puppets. This system is really cool. Thank you so much.
Roblox.
No, 10 memberships. Sorry, 10.
Awesome.
Thank you. Martin says there are towns, areas that decline and disappear because of specific economies. The case of the town abandoned because of carbon production, the same thing happens with the billionaire. The billionaire, I don't know why the comment was cut off.
The comment was cut off.
But yes, there are towns in Durango, for example. Recently, we saw in a school book about a Durango town where they didn't want to forget anyone, but everyone left. Well, it's fantastic.
Well, in Spain, I follow a channel that is dedicated to exploring those towns, right? And suddenly he finds a resident and he interviews him and talks to him and he says, I don't know if you've seen it. Let's see if anyone remembers the name, because even though I'm subscribed, I haven't watched it in a long time. Yeah, it's really good.
Yeah, it's cool. It makes me think it's cool to live alone like that. But then I think, what if something happens to you? Because a lot of them, to go out, you had to walk down, right? From the mountain.
Mountain, since the road is already broken.
Not even by car. No.
No, because the road is broken and something else, and there's no road anymore, and you have to go by a trail.
And there was a lady who lived with her girls in a village, and she was all alone, just by herself. And I thought, well, if something happens to the girls, what is she going to do? If something happens to her, who is going to go get her? No one.
And the adventures, that one. In fact, once I did it again, I'm subscribed, I insist. It's just that, well, you end up subscribing to a lot of channels all of a sudden, and then there's no time to watch them, and they stop showing up for you.
He says that because about the article, if obesity has memory, why does thinness have amnesia? I say it has amnesia because it's easy to gain weight. You put pounds back on and end up right where you started.
That's a really good discovery, you know, because you always hear people say, oh, it's the rebound or whatever, that you have to stay at your weight for at least a year so it stabilizes and you stay there or something like that. Well, they say that the memory of these cells can last up to 10 years. So basically, once you're at your weight, to maintain it, you have to keep up the discipline, right? No, don't get complacent, because in no time you'll be back to where you started.
Exactly.
Yes.
Pixel says Mexico and Chile have been a couple since our declaration of love, when Mexico asked for help for independence. We arrived late, but we arrived from afar.
The party, which is more important. They arrived at the party, which is more important. They arrived at the party.
To the party. And when we get together with friends, the girls and everyone who was in our class, we seem like teenagers and we're all 70, says Tapatia. Yes?
Exactly. I can already picture all the stiff people there.
Steve, no, I don't know. Well, not anymore. I hardly get together with my friends now, but when we used to, and you start to remember things like, do you remember when, I don't know, and it still makes you laugh. Oh, what a thing. Greetings.
I'm meeting a friend on WhatsApp today, right? And we were, I don't know what we were talking about trading, right? About like sometimes you don't follow your own rules. You get, I don't know what to say. And I remember the time when I gave him some advice. At that time, we were at a school run by nuns. And the nun, Emma, her name is Mother Emma. I remember he did something mischievous. He's a friend, right? And he was kind of a troublemaker, you know? And then she says to him, oh, she calls him by his name, right? She says, okay, I mean, being mischievous isn't bad, she told him. but always think 3 times about what you're going to do. If you still want to do it, go ahead, but think about it first. I thought that was great advice. Honestly, I was surprised because I was such a nerd and never did anything mischievous. I mean, I was super extremely well behaved. After that, I realized and pretty much stopped doing those mischievous things.
Okay.
I wasn't very mischievous as a kid, to be honest. But or at least I think so, right? That's what I remember, you know? But the advice was good, honestly. I mean, like, okay, you already decided you're going to do it, that you're going to pull another prank. At least, well, think about it, right? I mean, think about it 3 times, okay? Like, hey, I'm telling you, you've already weighed the consequences, right? He says, how are you, Rublos? Come here. Well, okay, let's go, guys. I was gonna say next is the movies and series section, but no, that's tomorrow.
It's tomorrow, guys. Well, right now we're going to watch something. I'm going out tomorrow. Maybe a movie, I think. So I have something to talk about tomorrow.
No, and the Mario one, I saw the Mario one.
Yeah, I already talked about it.
I already talked about it, right?
I've already done it. Remember, we send you the notification there on WhatsApp and Telegram, but we're also on Facebook, Instagram, and X.
And here we are. Thanks for sharing and liking. Tomorrow we'll be here early covering world events.
It really feels like Saturday. Yes, I was upset because I thought it was Saturday and I didn't do anything. It's almost Sunday. Monday is practically here. I even forgot today was Friday.
It's Friday. Yeah, that's cool. MT, greetings to the whole community. Robla, a big greeting to the whole community. Hope you're all doing well. Well, we'll see you tomorrow. See you later.